Hi, welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And today I'm going to show you a card I'm using for St. Patrick's made with what we might think is a Christmas paper. Let me show you what I made. So this is the card we're going to make, and I use product, dies and papers from Season of Green and Gold, and this was a July 2024 online exclusive, and it's clearly a Christmas paper. I used it for some beautiful Christmas cards, but let me show you how I also used it to make this St. Patrick's Day card. So can you really go wrong with two greens and a plaid? Like, yeah, that works. But look at this little piece here. I'm gonna bring it a little closer. Look at those little adorable shapes. And that came from this paper right here. This is what I cut out to go on the front of there. Let me show you step by step how I made the paper. I'm going to get this out of the way, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is die cutting those little pieces there, because there's a little bit of a trick to it. The first thing you want to do is cut up your paper into manageable sizes, making sure you leave lots of white space around the piece you want to cut. Let's grab our cut and emboss machine. And because I'm die cutting, I'm going to use plate 1. We always use plate 1. Plate 2, that's like a really skinny, I call it the cutting plate. And then we're going to use 2 of the clear plates, which are number 3. So I have put down here 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to move this so you can see at least what I'm doing. I'll move it back before I die cut because I have it backwards for me. I'm going to lay the piece there, and I love that these new dies cut so close, but it does mean I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. So when I found it easier, I'm going to lift it up so you can see, and then I'll actually attach it. I found I got the best cut when I made sure that my stem was right in the center here, and then these were lined up. And this die, there were actually 2 dies with the suite. This is still available online. I'm just moving it around. This die came from Golden Greenery, but there's another die in there that has great labels. That's where I grabbed this white tag, and that is called Greetings of the Season. Now some of these are on last chance, and you're going to want to snag them if you think, you know, I think I would use those dies. I just placed Post-it note over here because my plates are well loved, and when they're well loved, they're not always as flat as I want them to be, and this makes sure nothing's going to move. And then I'm going to put another plate on the top, and then I just set this on here backwards, so I'm going to move it because there's no way I'm going to use the handle on that side. There we go. I know you follow me for the creativity, not my tech skills. Yeah, so, because if I were a little techier, I probably could have showed you the whole piece in one camera angle, but okay, I'm going to move this because I'm so close to my camera base. But we're not putting this away because we're going to use the cut and emboss for another part of our card. And you can reuse these Post-it notes. And look at that lovely die. Like, I like to fussy cut, but I don't think I'd want to fussy cut around that stem. How easy was that? Okay, I'm going to put these pieces away so I have them ready for card class and I don't misplace them. We're just going to set this aside because we're going to use it in a minute. Let's look at the rest of our card pieces. Besides the die cut piece, I grabbed 2 of the greens that were in this die, in this plaid rather. And you know, we know how easy Stampin' Up makes it. They list all the colors on the back of the paper packet. And this one is Mossy Meadow. That's my card base. I like to use if I'm using 2 colors, I like to use the darker one for the card base, kind of to ground it. And then this is Old Olive. And honestly, I'm not sure I would have thought to put these 2 together, but of course Stampin' Up knows what they're doing and it works. But I'm going to first attach my plaid. I love a good plaid. I think you can use it for so many things. Yes, look how Christmassy this is on the back. And then I'm going to grab I like to use Seal Plus for my tape runner, but you can use whatever you want. And mine was being a little snarky, so I just moved my thumb till I could feel sticky again. We sometimes just need to show it who's boss. And this is going to go right there. Now you certainly could just use your card base like this, but I love a good embossing folder. And this might be my new favorite. It is Forever Plaid, and it uses plates 1 and 4. Now your embossing folder is not going to come with this information on it. I label mine as soon as I get them and put the sandwich on, so when I'm, you know, working late at night or talking with you on camera and my mind goes blank, I know what it is. Now the other thing I love about this folder is I could actually emboss 2 at a time if you were making lots of cards. I'm just going to make one with you, so I'm just putting one here, but you could get another one up there. Okay. Now I need plates 1 and 4, so we're going to get rid of 2, 3, and 3. I'll put this back out here with 1, and then plate 4. I love that it's a different color. It's easy to grab. In the cutting up system is the dark gray. There we go. And we're just going to roll that through. Just like that. And now we're done with our machine. We can put that away. Sides go back up so it doesn't take up as much room on my table. Put this away. Now the lines don't line up, but you get the embossing that mimics those lines. You know, you have a plaid embossing folder with a plaid paper. That's kind of like easy peasy, isn't it? All right, so we're going to attach this to here, but look how heavily embossed that is. As much as I love my tape runner, Seal Plus, any tape runner is going to kind of float on the top of all that embossing, and it may not adhere as tight as you want. So this is the job for the multi-purpose glue. And I'm going to be pretty generous, but what I'm not going to do is get too close to the edge. No closer than 1/4 inch. I might even be farther out. Look how much I'm putting on here. I want to get it everywhere, but I don't want to get it like pushed out onto my card, because now I'm going to push really hard on the card front, and that glue is going to spread, which is what it's supposed to do. I just don't want it to spread out into this, onto the card base. So here's what I do sometimes when I have a heavily embossed surface like this. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to grab my bone folder. If you have stronger fingers than I do, you might not need that. You might just use your finger. But I'm just kind of pushing it down all the way around. There we go. We have that done. Now, here's one of those dies I told you, and that is from Greetings of the Season. And we're going to attach this pretty little, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's grab some dimensionals. I should have a whole bunch here. Yes, if you haven't used dimensionals, think of foam. They come off of the sheet sticky. So, and we have them in this size or minis, but I think this size is going to work for me. What I just want to make sure is that I don't have it going into the opening, but it's completely covered by paper. We're going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to peel the backings off. And I'm going to make sure those backings go immediately into my little bowl. If I just flip them to the side, like I used to do until Jennifer taught me better, I would, they'd go everywhere. They're very staticky, and so they stick to your clothes, which then means they land up in your car or in your living room, everywhere. So this is easier. All right. Then I have, she says with hope as she digs through her bin. Yep. I have some beautiful gold twine that was part of a Valentine, the Marbled Elegance Suite. That's still available. I love this gold because, one, it's soft and it's really pliable, easy to use. I'm cutting 12 inches and I'm using my measuring at the bottom of my glass mat right here. And we'll get the rest of this out of the way. And now I'm going to fold it in half, because what I really want is 2 6-inch pieces. This is really thin, which makes it easier to work with, but it doesn't always have as much presence then when you put it on a tag, like it could get lost. So I'm using a double strand, 6 inches, 2 6-inch pieces. Then I'm going to fold it in half. This is more than you're going to end up using, but for me, that extra length sometimes makes it easier to hold on to if the fingers are not. It's not great, as we could say around here, not good hands day. So, yep. Then I have my little loop, so you can see that, and I'm pushing it through that hole. I go from the front to the back, but it doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure they both go through. So we'll try that one more time. I have the loop. This is how I attach any tag to a present or anything else, or to a card. It's less bulk than like putting one end through and making a knot. So now, see how I have that large loop that came through? We're going to take the ends, all 4 of them, and push them through. And if you make a large enough loop, it's easier than I'm making it look here, honest. That last one doesn't want to join the party. There. Now, as you can tell, lots more. You could probably do 8 inches and fold it. Again, just easier for me if I have the longer strings to hold on to. Then we're going to grab dimensionals again. Now, when I attach this piece, the dimensionals are in the center of the tag. When I add them to the back of the tag, I'm going to put them at each end. I'm not going to put anything in the middle because I want to avoid having 2 dimensionals on top of each other, because that sometimes can cause your envelope to be too thick and you may have to pay for extra postage. But as long as you don't have a double layer, like I have a row here and a row here, when I put it in my envelope, it will flatten to just the width of one set of dimensionals, which is fine for mailing. So that's going to go there. And again, we're going to peel these backs off and contain them. Just like that. And then you could put this anywhere on here. I put mine in the lower corner. One, I'm not great at centering things, and so if I purposely put them to the side, it looks like I meant to do that, not like I couldn't figure out the center. And I like things kind of off center. Now, I don't need this much, as I said, so I'm going to grab this and just trim it. So, of course, we need a little bling. We need gold. It's the St. Patrick's Day card. So, look at these lovely flat embellishments, and they are called Neutrals Adhesive Back Sequins. I'm going to grab the gold, and I'm grabbing the larger ones. And I need a new putty refill. That's not picking up, so we'll go this way. This is fine too. When I add embellishments to a card, I typically use 3, and odd number is always a good idea. And I put the 3 of them in a roughly triangular shape, which just means one embellishment's hanging out by itself, and the other 2 are closer together. Look at that. So now I'm at the point where I need something for the inside. And I don't have a current Stampin' Up! Stamp that says Happy St. Patrick's Day. I could write a note, but there's a stamp set called Country Flowers. And look at the saying, so lucky to know you. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm not Irish, but I love sending St. Patrick's Day cards. And this is the perfect one for me to use for a St. Patrick's Day card. So I have lots of people I could send that to. They don't have to be Irish either to get a St. Patrick's Day card. We're going to, though, before we do that, we're going to take that same plaid we used on the front of the card and put it to the inside of the card. It just gives everything a little more finished look. So we're going to put just a bit of our multi-purpose glue at the top. I was a little more generous than I had to be there. And then we're going to line this up. But by using the multi-purpose glue, I can kind of move it around to where I want it. And of course, you probably know what I'm going to say next. We're not sending this great card in a naked envelope. So here's our basic envelope, like this. It's a great envelope. Stampin' Up! Has wonderful envelopes. They're soft. The cards fit beautifully in them, but they're kind of boring. So we're going to take our envelope flap and fold it back. And I'm going to put glue around the outside of the envelope flap. Just like that. Now, if you have limited paper and you're thinking, I don't know if I want to use my paper for an envelope flap, but you don't want to send a naked envelope. There are stamp sets that have, you know, like the clover or the 3-leaf, 4-leaf clover for good luck. But the other thing you could do, which is actually even quicker than attaching paper, is, remember that embossing folder we used? You could emboss the envelope flap. So lots of choices, and choices are good. I'm going to go with the paper. And then I'm going to trim our envelope just like that. All the way around. And I cut my envelope flap 2 1/4 by 6, but head over to Scrappin with Joni. I'll have all the directions on my blog. And then we're going to trim this like so. Those can go in my scrap bowl. And let's attach our insert. Just like so. And that's going to go here. But look what that plaid does on the inside of our card. So it's like the final touch, isn't it? And so lucky to know you. It's a great sentiment to put in a St. Patrick's Day card. There's our card. I hope you have someone in your life that you're lucky to know and you could send a card to. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.